you may still have those Christmas gifts that you haven't taken out of the box. I know. It's terrible. But for me, I wasn't sure how to use some of these kitchen gadgets.
Uh-oh, well, that's not good. Who do you think those gifts are a hint that maybe you should cook more?
I think so, maybe, Bill. Maybe we're tapping into that. So we went to get some help from Jill Garcia Schmidt, chef and lead instructor at the Culinary Center of Kansas City. First up, air fryer. So this is the air fryer that I recently got, and this is the air fryer that Jill uses. And today we're making a healthy version of chicken nuggets, which I used to bake chicken nuggets just like this, and it's gonna be so much easier in the air fryer.
And it gets nice and crispy, and it takes a lot less work. So I've already started the steps for you by taking some of the chicken, and I'm just using chicken tenderloins, all right? And you can see that I've got it in a mixture of buttermilk and hot sauce.
And why is it so important, especially with the air frying, to be sure that flavor's coming through?
Because you're not gonna use as much oil as you would in a normal deep fryer. You also wanna avoid using any kind of wet batter, all right? So you're looking at this and going, oh my gosh, is that gonna make a huge mess in my air fryer? This is just step one. This is imparting a lot of flavor into the chicken as we go, and then we're gonna take it and we're gonna dredge it.
I was gonna say, I do not want a cleaning emergency on day one of using it.
No. And what we've done here is we just have a combination of Italian breadcrumbs and panko breadcrumbs, okay? And then we're simply going to spread them over the chicken, use our tongs to turn it over. And if you want to do chicken nuggets, you can cut them up smaller. You can do strips, whatever you like.
Chicken tenders, chicken nuggets, anything as long as the flavor's
chicken,
there.
Right.
Yeah.
So then this is a perfectly breaded piece of chicken, and then we're just gonna simply put it into the basket of the air fryer and let it go.
And we also wanted to talk about, right, you added some extra seasoning over there just to give that flavor
Absolutely. And at this point, when you're talking about doing a breading for any kind of air frying at all, you really want to pack as much punch in there as you can. So season with salt and pepper, season with garlic, season with onion, cayenne, whatever you like. And then of course, this is just one way to do this. You could actually do zucchini fries the same way. You could do
She's giving me
the
recipe
same
ideas.
way.
Love that.
Absolutely. Anything you want that you normally would find in a deep fryer, you can do it in your air fryer.
Okay, and then can we see the chicken actually pop into yours?
Yes.
Just in case we've
Let's
got one
take
that's
a
like
look.
sort of styled like the pizza oven.
I know, right? So this one has an air fry basket that just goes, and you can see it's a very large capacity. It would be perfect for a large family. And you know what? While I'm in here, I'm just gonna give this a turn, because why not? And you can see all the crumbs that collect on the bottom. I've got this drip tray that'll come out, and I just wipe it out. But again, I wanna make sure I take care of that each time so that not all that stuff is sitting in the bottom and burning.
Now, in case you're wondering, I have used that air fryer on my own. I made sweet potatoes and Brussels sprouts. In just a bit, Jill's gonna take us down the path of slow cooker success. Welcome back. So having a meal ready to eat when you walk through the front door is a treat at the end of a long day. Chef and lead instructor Jill Garcia Schmidt of the Culinary Center of Kansas City introduces me to the world of slow cookers. So with the slow cooker in mind, we're gonna do Kansas City pulled pork, and where do you recommend starting for that?
All right, so I always start with the pork. You can use pork butt, you can use ribs, whatever you like. Today I use some country style ribs because it's very lean and it doesn't have any bone in it.
Looks
but it
beautiful.
does have a little bit of a fat cap on there, which is very helpful in creating flavor.
Flavor profile.
So I just cut it into some larger pieces, and I want to make sure that that fat cap gets cut through. All right.
That'll be so
I don't
good.
want to. You can take it completely off if you want to, but I actually. What I do with it, once I take it off the meat, and you can see I'm just kind of slicing it off, I actually take this and it goes in the bottom. I have some beautiful quartered onions, and you can see here that what I do is I put it on the bottom of the slow cooker, and that creates a little stage for the star of the show, which is gonna be the pork, okay? So we have some of our fantastic barbecue dudes barbecue rub.
Just throw it on?
Yeah, and just get it on there, and then I'll give it a really nice massage. All right, we want to make sure it gets in, and you can see I have some slits in here to make sure that it gets all in there. Go ahead and do it again, please.
Jill, I also wanted to ask you, right, we've talked about why it's so important to brown the meat, but some people are like, well, a slow cooker, that's the whole point of it, I don't have to. You know, why is it so important for us to go ahead and cook it
There
first?
are two main reasons why you want to brown the meat first, okay? One is because it gives you a spectacular color. It caramelizes the outside of the meat and it gives you great color. If you don't do that, your meat tends to come out gray.
Nobody wants that.
No, and it looks unappetizing. It'll smell fantastic. It'll probably taste great, but it doesn't look as beautiful as it could. And then the other reason is because it imparts flavor. Okay, so we're gonna start rendering the fat down by searing it in a hot skillet with some oil, and that's all you do. So you bring this to a high temperature. When it just starts to smoke, you just simply place your pieces in there and let it get brown on all sides. And then once you have it all browned, you just lay it gently on top of the onions. And then at that point, you can add a little bit of liquid, or if you're smart, some Kansas City barbecue sauce.
Ooh,
and let that just slow cook all day long on low, and typically about 8 hours while you're at work. When you get home, your whole house is gonna smell amazing, and the meat is going to be incredibly tender. And since we didn't use a bone on this, you put your cooked meat into your bowl of your standing mixer, turn it on low, and it'll shred it all up for you in,
oh my gosh.
in 1 minute.
And that pulled pork, it's everything.
Yes.
One gadget to go. In a few minutes, we go gadget with a drink machine. Well, ice is in the forecast?
Well, you're not talking about the weather though, right?
Nope, I'm talking about my new ice and drink machine,
Wow.
and I got some tips on how to use it. Okay, so this is the frozen drink machine that we're using, and we see it's got this piece that fits in smooth there. You can pick coarse or fine for the ice, and then it's actually the lid that would turn it on. And you've been working on a recipe that you actually did in a blender, and why did we want to do that first?
Well, this is definitely not a blender, okay?
Don't just toss everything in and break
Right,
it.
don't try to put food up in here. After reading the instructions, I don't think that this is gonna be designed as specifically to make fruit smoothies unless your fruit is already kind of pureed. So we're just gonna help it along. So this is actually a blend of chili, lime, and frozen mango.
Okay, but it's not the chili that's gonna be spicy and
No.
send you like to the nearest fire hydrant.
No, not at all. This is an ancho chili, and it is very floury and very fragrant, and it's dried poblano, so not a lot of heat. And then I also have the frozen mango in there, as well as fresh lime juice, okay?
Why might we want to consider using frozen fruit?
Frozen fruit is going to just take time away from prep, so it's readily available in any grocery store nowadays, and it's already cut and ready to go.
Yeah.
However,
Easy
I'm
hack.
a firm believer if you have some, like for example, this mango here, one that was getting a little overripe, it'd be a perfect situation to use that up.
reuse it, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we're gonna add a little bit of water to this, okay, because we want to thin it out. And this is going to be the agua for the agua fresca part. And then we're going to go ahead and have you slide that in.
It's in here, and you have
Slide
to find the groove, and then we give it a twist.
pull it all the way. There you go.
Okay, so that it'll work. And we're gonna add some ice. Hopefully not past the fill line.
There you go. Perfect.
Okay.
All right, now let's go.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Okay.
How's it gonna work?
Gotta see how well this applies works.
Oh, there you go.
chug
You can
along.
see it turning it. I think you're good.
So we're all crushed up.
Okay, go ahead, pull it out. Sorry, I get so excited. I just want to play with all the toys. Okay, and then I think I'm just gonna stir it up a little
Stir it a
bit.
little bit.
Make sure and incorporate all that
This is
deliciousness.
gonna make for a really good slushy.
Really nice consistency, actually, for the ice. All right, and I want to make sure we get all that good stuff in there for you to taste.
You should pour some too.
Oh, I
We
will.
can cheers.
Yay, I like that. Couple little chunks of mango in there, that doesn't offend me.
No, I'm here for it.